Hi guys, I'm Naveen and I'm back with a very exciting topic in this week. Today, I'm back with the topic of why Geoffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI, fears AGI. And that's the main question we have here. I have heard about Geoffrey Hinton talking against the first development of AI models and doing against these companies like Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google, developing the models and architectures at a pace which is so fast and quick that the legal things and regulations are not checked with the pace of the development. So Jeffrey Hinton talked against those companies who are not working or building the models in the right way. So I was so curious to know why. Why Jeffrey Hinton worries about AGI? What's the reason behind it? He's the one who has laid the foundations for the advanced development of this thing. And if he worries about this thing, then there should be something too crucial about it. I cannot deny the fact that it it won't cause any damage or future problems to me. I cannot deny it because even the founders or founding father of deep learning is worrying about it. So I just thought that okay, then start thinking about it, start understanding what's the main reason behind it. That's how I started. So when I started exploring about it, that's when I realized that these ML models, the ML algorithms, they are all pure mathematics. They are just applications of linear algebra, calculus, optimization, information theory, probability, and statistics. Just pure application of all these mathematics branches which I just specified. That was the key realization that you need to have when you think about ML algorithms and models. The ChatGPT models running in your mobile phone or the Anthropic Cloud AI model or anything else. Any LLM model or the agentic AI that works, everything works on just purely of mathematics. There is nothing else, just mathematics. So when we see it or interact with these things for the first time, we feel like this is magical. How does it happen? Is it a magic? That's what we feel when we walk with it for the first time. So now you understand that this is not magic, this is not something which comes out of air, it is mathematics. So the thing about mathematics is that mathematics was not discovered, it was invented. We never discovered mathematics under a piece of rock. It got invented from the minds of the man. A man started representing the abstractions of the real world with some digits of by counting. Everything started from those numbers, from the act of counting, just for the sake of survival. That's how everything started. So the next question is, if this ML algorithms and models, everything is just purely based on mathematics, then it means that the further development of AGI is also just based on mathematics, right? It's just highly complex and developed mathematical systems interacting with each other to mimic intelligence, which is also capable of learning new things. So, if that's the case, we saw that mathematics can show intelligence, learn new things, and share that knowledge with us. If it can mimic intelligence, if it can exhibit the behaviors of intelligence, and in that case, what about being conscious? What is consciousness? From the perspective of humans, we see that humans are the only animals which are conscious of itself. Yeah, self, not consciousness, I meant self-consciousness. Yeah, so humans know who they are, why they exist, what they're doing. We are self-conscious about ourselves. Our brains are developed like that. The main reason is that the ratio of brain, the ratio of weights of the body to of the brain to our body is has a bigger value compared to all other animals. It's one of the reason. So it means that after having control over the body, over after having after making sure that the brain coordinates everything which happens in the body, there are a lot of neurons which are left to do the cognitive tasks like thinking, doing mathematical analysis and reasoning and thinking, all kind of stuff. That's the main reason why we have developed such a great civilization around us. And if that's the case, then the first thing which came to my mind was consciousness is something which is related to human beings, so something living. Then how can these ML models mimic consciousness? How can they become conscious? I'm not saying these ML models mimicking consciousness. I'm saying how can they be conscious? This is what many leading ML researchers believe that ML models can become conscious when the time of AGI comes. That's what they believe. And then I dived deep and researched about the root cause behind the belief that they are holding. The thing is that this is not a theory, this is just a hypothesis. This is an assumption that might become true or it might become false. That's what we mean by hypothesis. So I dived into the root cause behind this hypothesis, and that's when I found something exciting. What I found out was that just think about our neurons, the neurons in our brain. A single neuron is not conscious. Multiple neurons are not conscious, but a large number of neurons which are connected to each other, which are coordinated by a complex network, somehow becomes consciousness. So we can see that consciousness is not a property of neurons, but it arises. It's something which arises out of this complicated organization, this complicated network, which it normally arrives. It arrives It arises out of this complexity. That's the property of consciousness. So the hypothesis that many leading AI researchers put forward is that once we set up mathematical complex systems which are highly intricate and complex, just like our brain, there is a huge possibility that these systems become conscious of itself. Because as I told you, consciousness is something which arises out of the complexity of the connections between the neurons. So this was something which blew my mind because it's very difficult to digest these things, right? Because with our intuition, we cannot think like, what the hell is he talking? But it was during these moments I thought about things like electromagnetic radiation. Just think about it. The phones we are using, we are able to call a person who's sitting in America with the phone. It's not connected with that person who's sitting in America in any possible, in any physical way that we can see. But electromagnetic radiations are transmitting, and we cannot see those radiations. And we still, but now we know that there are certain things like that, like electromagnetic radiations and all. But think about people who were living in the past. They couldn't even think like these things. They would say that these are lies, these things wouldn't happen. Because these things were something which were out of the box thinking, which were out of the context, which in out of the context of the world in which they live. So similarly, like that, sometimes this concept might also be a thing or a topic which is out of the context of the world where we live in. So now I told you about consciousness. Then now we are getting back to the topic of why Geoffrey Hinton fears AGI. It's not because AGI can become consciousness. Yeah, there is a possibility that AGI might become conscious of itself. Anyway, just leave it. Assume that it is not going to become conscious at all. Even though the root cause behind his fear is the fact that AGI which is an intelligent system, which is not conscious, which is unconscious system, which is capable of deciding things, of pursuing things, pursuing a path for the achievement of a goal. Did you understand it? It's a system which is capable of pursuing or following certain paths to achieve the goals it has. When humans give certain goals to it, it might optimize the path which it needs to take, such that the paths which it undergo might actually be harmful to the society or the humans. I will give you an example. Assume that I have an AGI and I'm working. Assume that I'm the CEO of Facebook or Meta. I'm the CEO of Meta. I want to increase the user engagement in my Instagram social media app. How can I increase the user engagement? So I will tell AGI that AGI, I have a problem. I have low user engagement in Instagram. I need you to increase it. So when I tell this to AGI, my intention is that it needs to develop systems and it needs to bring innovations into my software such that the users will stick more due to the increased value they receive or they perceive from my social media app. That's the actual thing which or the context that I have in my mind. But at the same time, I didn't tell this context. I didn't share this context to AGI. Then there is a possibility that AGI will find that sharing or putting out raging things like religion things or putting violence and all can cause an increase in user engagement. Yeah, it might increase user engagement in the social media app, but it can actually result in the diversification or division of people in the society, resulting in a negative consequence for the humanity as, as a whole. So I think you got this. Oh, then you might say that, oh, then we just need to specify that, oh, AGI, I need to increase the user engagement by following certain things, by making sure that humans won't be affected, by following certain rules, by following the ethics and all. But then we need to understand that the real world is so complex. We cannot always specify hard rules to AGI. Like you need to follow these things, you need to follow that things. There will be loopholes. And that's the problem. We cannot always, even if we spend hundreds and thousands of hours telling AGI about ethics, about things it needs to follow while pursuing the goal, still there will be loopholes that will be present. And the AGI, it just optimizes to solve the problem to reach to the goal in the best possible way. It doesn't care about any other things. It just focuses on getting to its goal with the context it has. Its context is limited by the things we specify. That's the problem. So it is due to this existence of loopholes, which actually makes humans vulnerable to AI. This AGI will may pursue its goals in a way which is harmful to the humanity, which in ways which can destroy the humanity or the economy. That's the problem. So I believe you have understood or got a little idea about why Geoffrey Hinton fears AGI. I don't know whether you have understood everything, but I believe that you have something with you now. You have understood something which you were not, which about which you were not aware in the beginning of this video, but there is something which you can take out along with you from this video. If there is something like that, that's my success. I believe that that's what actually makes me a valuable person to the society. So anyway, I'm, I will be so grateful to you for watching this video till this much and see you next week. And I will come back with a more exciting tech topic to discuss about. And then until then, see you. Until then, work harder, get your dreams, live your life, understand that Each moment of life is better. Each moment of life is valuable. You need not be in a trip. You need not go to beach. You need not go to mountain. Even sitting in the chair on which you have been sitting for the last many years. That moment of sitting and doing the worst task you do not want to do. That moment is valuable, man. Because being alive is the most beautiful and most valuable thing. Appreciate it. Enjoy your life. Go with it. See you next week.